Tell me more about SOS. I mean, I know you're trying to promote more people visiting. You know, I sat down with John Morgan from the Theaters Trust, and he told me a stat I found interesting, is that for every pound that someone spent on a ticket in the theater, they spent like an additional 83 pounds throughout the city. And it was actually, more was spent, I even think, than with domestic tourists than even international tourists. Because a lot of times people would have the one day or the one weekend a year where they come from outside of England, they come into London, they have the big theater, they go out to dinner, they take a bus tour, everything, they go big. They spend a lot of money in this city. And yet he couldn't seem to get government approval for what he had was a COVID-safe way of having the theaters set up. And he was really frustrated, and that really hurt tourism. And he was trying to get, again, more people to try to get back into this city. I guess you're trying to do the same, or you were trying to promote people here. Yeah, that's right. And I guess it's, with us now having moved to tier 2 and with as I say, prevailing sentiment, it's difficult to know how much we can continue to push that message of come to London. But that's what I'd like to push, because that's what we need. But we are part of an ecosystem within tourism. So we work very closely with historic royal palaces in the Tower of London, and with Merlin, who run the London Eye, and Madame Tussauds, and City Cruises, who run the boats along the river. We're all kind of like a family that all support each other. And as you say, tourists who come down for the weekend or and visit the city for a week even spend a lot of money. So they go to the theatre, but they also likely, you know, do a bus tour, do the London Eye, do the Tower of London, do the riverboat cruise, and therein kind of generates the economy. And they've got a lot of touch points along there that are currently in deep pain because the people aren't there. Yeah. Yeah, and this is something that everyone's been talking about. I mean, I personally think we need to really just strip everything back and think, what can we do to promote these businesses? Which means, again, cutting the business rates and giving that more of a deferral. And I know you've been talking about that at SOS London. Yeah. Drop them right down. I mean, businesses are struggling to, you know, pay rent right now. Yeah. The congestion charge has got to be removed. It's got to be removed. People need to want to come in here on the weekends and spend. We have to, again, find the science-based solutions to get our hospitality venues back. And what I think we don't have to do is say a lockdown's inevitable, when a lockdown should be based on science. Or actually, a lockdown should be on actually taking a break from the NHS. That's originally what a lockdown was for. It was never created to stop the spread of disease. I just feel like we need to look at this through a different lens, and not a callous lens. There are definitely people in danger, but those people need to be protected. But again, I see this disproportionate response where a whole industry, a whole city, a whole country is being forced to be penalized when most of those people can safely go to work. Most of those people really want to come to London. They want to experience culture. And I appreciate what you're doing with SOS. Any other messages with SOS that you're trying to get out there? I know you mentioned business rates as well. I suppose the truth is that we are now refocusing our efforts and onto what our next phase is. So we had a big push for what we hoped the government would do to help support us through the back end of the summer and into the autumn. And we are now we've actually got a meeting early next week to discuss our strategies for the winter. Really, in light of the recent government announcements and the fact that we still feel more support is needed. You're a bit disappointed that we went to tier 2, I'm guessing. Very much so, yeah. And as much as anything, because of what it means for the overall mood and the overall feel about London, and what it will do for people in Kent and Surrey and Cambridgeshire who were thinking about day tripping into London, who are our customer base right now. Yeah, my fear is what it will do to their mindset.